This chapter is dramatic and tragic, okay? It marks the fall of Eli's household, the loss of Israel's most sacred object, and a dark turning point in Israel's spiritual life. The first part of this chapter covers Israel goes to war and loses, okay? Israel fights the Philistines and loses badly, okay? 4,000 soldiers die. The elders don't ask God why. Instead, they come up with their own plan. Okay, second part of the chapter, Israel brings the ark to battle. Let's bring the ark of the covenant from Shiloh so it may save us. They treat the ark like a magic weapon instead of honoring God himself. Eli's corrupt sons, Hophni and Phinehas, bring the ark into battle. The Israelites cheer loudly, thinking they will win now. Thinking they will win now, okay? And even the Philistines get scared. Woe to us! Who can deliver us from these mighty gods? But this confidence is misplaced. Their hearts are far from God. Okay, the third part of this chapter covers a crushing defeat. The Philistines fight harder than ever and destroy the Israel army. Okay, 3,000 Israelite soldiers die. The Ark of God is captured. Hophni and Phinehas are killed, fulfilling God's earlier prophecy, okay? The loss of the ark is devastating. It represented God's presence with Israel, okay? Eli dies. That's the fourth part of the chapter. A messenger runs to Shiloh to report the disaster. Eli, now 98 years old and nearly blind, is waiting anxiously. When he hears that the army was defeated, he's shaken. That his sons died, he's devastated. That the ark was captured, he falls backward, breaks his neck, and dies. He had judged Israel 40 years. His death marks the end of an era. He wasn't evil like his sons, but he failed to restrain them. Okay, so the fifth part of the chapter covers each bod is born. Phinehas' wife is pregnant and goes into labor from the shock. She gives birth and names the baby Ichabod, meaning the glory has departed from Israel, okay? She dies after childbirth, and her final words are, the ark of God has been captured. The name Ichabod becomes a symbol of deep spiritual loss, okay? What are the key lessons from First Samuel chapter 4. The first one is God's presence is not a magic object. The ark wasn't a lucky charm. Faith without obedience is powerless. Okay. Second lesson: God fulfills His word even in judgment. The deaths of Eli, Hophni, and Phinehas were foretold because of disobedience and corruption. Third lesson: losing God's presence is the worst loss. The chapter ends with sorrow, not just for the dead, but for a nation that lost touch with his God, okay? Fourth lesson, Ichabod is a warning. When we ignore God, his glory can depart, even from religious people and places, okay? So the First Samuel chapter 4 is one of the darkest chapters in Israel history. The people lose the battle, a generation of leaders, and most importantly, the symbol of God's presence. But this loss will prepare the way for God's greater work through Samuel, okay? If you enjoyed this chapter, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I see you on the next one.